we take our coverage to the capital city as Northwest Police businessman Suleiman Carrim continues with a second day of testimony at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. The inquiry is contemplating money laundering charges against him. It's after Carrim transferred 500,000 rand to Hangwani Morgan Maumela through his sister's bank account in what appears to have been done to avoid an SIU preservation order against the alleged Tembisa hospital looter. Maumela is a central figure in the scandal, which saw the brutal assassination of whistleblower Babita Deokaran for the plundering of more than 2 billion rand at that healthcare facility. Ziyanda Ngobo has more for us from the Bridget Mabandla Justice College. Ziyanda, good morning. Let's kick off with Carrim saying that this amount comes from the 1.5 million rand that was paid by Vusimuzi Matlala, who made the payment as part of servicing a 10 million rand loan given by him to assist with the starting of that now controversial 360 million rand Medicare 24 tender.
Good morning, Iman. Certainly. And why then would Suleiman Carrim have to be the middleman in making this payment? Why didn't Vusimuzi Matlala make the payment himself to someone like Hangwani Morgan Maumela? And this is one of the questions that Suleiman Carrim had to contend with, to say already the payments to service this loan were few and far between, only receiving them in February and March 2025, despite having paid that 10 million in June 2024. And so if you've only received just a very small fraction of what is owed back to you, why would you agree to then take from the 1.5 million and still give a third of that to Hangwani Maumela? And this is part of the relationship that the Commission is looking into. In fact, that's part of the evidence that was led by Chief Evidence Leader Matthew Chaskelson.
We are interested in the relationship between Mr. Matlala, Mr. Maumela, and this witness. We're interested in how the proceeds of crime move around between those witnesses. We know that Mr. Matlala, at the very least, had influence over certain people within the SAPS. We know that this witness held himself out as someone who had influence over certain people within the SAPS and indeed over the minister. We know also that Mr. Matlala and Mr. Maumela are alleged to have been involved in widespread tender fraud and corruption at the Tembisa hospital, alongside what we see in this case. We are at the very least entitled to investigate whether what we're looking at here is a criminal syndicate engaged in widespread tender fraud and also exercising influence over members of the SAPS. And that's where these questions go.
And then the question became, Iman, whether or not Suleiman Carrim was aware of the charges that Vusimuzi Matlala and Hangwani Maumela were facing in relation to the murder of Babita Deokaran and the looting at the Tembisa hospital, because there seems to be a nexus here insofar as that scandal is concerned. And this commission and the SIU are also, not the SIU, I beg your pardon, but this commission in particular, are going to be looking into whether Matlala and Maumela also had their tentacles within the upper echelons of the South African Police Service. And Carrim really now being pressed about the timelines, because by June 2024, when he made that payment, 10 million rand loan payment to Vusimuzi Matlala, these charges were already against these two individuals.
Mr. Chaskelson, you raised a very important issue. You fingered these two individuals on a murder. You just said that a few minutes ago. So I read this in the media. Yes, I'm a businessman. Yes, I have a family. I have people to protect. I've got kids. At that moment in time, I did not know whether these rumors are true or not.
Well, that's an answer that I can accept, Mr. Carrim. But we'd have saved a lot of time if you had come up and said out with that answer right at the beginning. If your answer is you thought that you might be dealing with a murderer, so you didn't want to say no to him, well, then that's an answer I can accept. Is that your answer?
I'm saying alleged, you know. These stories were in the media. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying I read. So, yes, I was afraid of that.
And so in relation to the probable money laundering charges that Carrim will face, he says the intention was never to commit fraud. But of course, once we pick up in his second day of testimony, we anticipate that more regarding the communication between Carrim, Brown Mahotsi, Hangwani Morgan, as well as Vusumuzi Matlala, to take the center stage to get a better understanding of the relationship. I mean, part of what has been put to Mr. Carrim is this whole thing about him being able to give 10 million rand to someone he says he didn't even know before June 2024, that being Vusumuzi Matlala, and this kind of generosity that it seems the commissioners are questioning. In particular, it was Commissioner Sesi Beloy to say, this person randomly called you and said they need a loan of 10 million rand. Did you ask where this person who was Vusumuzi Matlala got your contact details from? But also, did you do a financial check regarding the health of Matlala's businesses for you to feel comfortable enough to give a loan of 10 million rand? There was another 10 million rand, by the way, Iman, that was promised to Matlala that would be repaid over a 3-year period of around 10% for this loan. So the nature of this loan is also going to still become a conversation, and also that money that was sent to Maumela through his sister's bank account, does this constitute money laundering?
Ooh, very interesting questions there. And we've seen the commissioners not hold back in going down to the detail, in excavating much, much deeper than what Carrim was willing to say yesterday, to get to the deeper truths that lie beneath the surface. And we'll